Your Excellency, Mr. Philemon Yang, President of the 79th session of the General Assembly, Your Excellency, Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Majesties, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished delegates. Allow me to extend my heartfelt congratulations to you, Your Excellency, Mr. Philemon Yang, on your election as President of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. We are confident that under your astute leadership, significant progress will be made on the critical global agenda that is before us. Please be assured of Zimbabwe's unwavering support throughout your tenure. I would also like to pay tribute to your predecessor, Ambassador Dennis Francis, for his exemplary stewardship of the 78th session of the General Assembly. As the General Assembly had to contend with a number of delicate issues, Ambassador Francis worked hard, so hard, to promote compromise and the collective resolution of issues anchored on the principle of multilateralism, understanding, and mutual respect. Mr. President, in an increasingly polarized and insecure world, dialogue and diplomacy are indispensable. Our world is besieged by numerous global challenges, both natural and man-made. The interconnectedness of our world means that events in one region inevitably affect others. In this regard, the theme of this session, therefore, and I quote, leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations, unquote, is so relevant and timely. The theme is a reminder of our shared responsibility to build a world that is inclusive, a world that is just and sustainable. It is through collective action, grounded in solidarity and mutual respect, that we can advance peace, foster sustainability, and strengthen multilateralism, as well as uphold human dignity. In this spirit of unity, we must prioritize the most vulnerable and marginalized populations, ensuring that no one and no place is left behind in our pursuit for progress. Sustainable development cannot be achieved without peace, and peace cannot be sustained without addressing the root cause of conflict, chief among them poverty, inequality, intolerance, scarcity exacerbated by climate change, and unwanted and unwarranted external interference in internal affairs of some states. By investing in education, healthcare, and sustainable economic opportunities, we can create resilient societies that empower individuals and communities to thrive. To attain this, we should commit to a renewed sense of global partnership, where every nation, large and small, continues to and benefits from our collective efforts. Mr. President, as the 2030 deadline for the Sustainable Development Agenda goals, SDGs, approaches, the global community is at a crossroads and needs to make a critical choice on how to advance these ambitions and ambitious targets. Climate change, geopolitical conflicts, and economic disparities continue to pose substantial barriers to the achievement of the 2030 agenda. It is therefore essential to accelerate action, enhance funding, and foster innovative solutions. The next 6 years are pivotal if achieving the SDGs is to remain within reach. Zimbabwe fully supports the proposed SDG stimulus so as to reinvigorate the implementation of these crucial goals that we set for ourselves. In this regard, the just held Summit of the Future was an opportunity and indeed an opportune moment for the international community to come together to forge robust frameworks and innovative strategies to address the complex and interwoven challenges we face. We must leverage this moment to reaffirm our commitment to multilateralism, sustainable development, and the principles enshrined in the United Nations Charter. It is imperative, therefore, that we adopt a holistic approach that integrates economic, social, and environmental dimensions, ensuring that we are all inclusive as we navigate the path towards a more resilient and equitable world. The devastating impact of climate change is our common challenge that requires collective action to enable vulnerable communities to adapt while at the same time mitigating the impact. Our SADC region has been affected by the El Nino-induced drought that has created a serious food and nutrition security. In that context, the SADC heads of states and government launched an international humanitarian appeal amounting to US $5.8 billion at the end of May 2024. That figure will go up as more countries of the region complete their own national assessments. The overreaching and overarching objective is to meet the immediate needs occasioned by the El Nino-induced drought, while at the same time building resilience for future shocks, including through the establishment of early warning systems. Excellencies, I wish to reiterate our steadfast commitment to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, spearheaded by our transformative Vision 2030. This national blueprint sets forth our aspirations to propel Zimbabwe to upper middle income status by the year 2030, focusing on robust economic growth, sustainable development, and holistic societal transformation. Our strategic thrust encompasses substantial investments in critical sectors that include infrastructure development, education, modern heritage-based education 5.0, model healthcare, and modernized agriculture, pivotal for ensuring the inclusive prosperity across all strata of our society. In earnest pursuit of the SDGs, Zimbabwe has recorded commendable strides across various domains. We have implemented rigorous policies such as our Agricultural 6.0 model aimed at bolstering food security, enhancing access to potable water and sanitation facilities, and investment in renewable energy. Our comprehensive and social protection frameworks and healthcare systems have yielded tangible reductions in poverty levels and disease burdens. Furthermore, we remain unwavering in our commitment to empowering women and youths, recognizing their pivotal as architects of sustainable transformation and development. The government of Zimbabwe is advancing a devolution policy driven by our mantra, which I quote, leaving no one and no place behind. the focus is on promoting grassroots development through empowering provincial and district authorities to lead the way in fulfilling their development aspirations. Our goal is to ensure that no community, no village, no town center or province is left behind in our development efforts. As a result of this policy thrust, we have witnessed a life-changing and transformative impact driven by this bottom-up approach. Our valiant developmental efforts notwithstanding, Zimbabwe is confronted by formidable challenges in its quest to attain the SDGs. The adverse impact of the punitive, illegal, unilateral sanctions, compounded by the exigencies of climate change, present real threats and barriers to our development strategy. In this regard, we call upon all those that have maintained illegal and unjustified sanctions on Zimbabwe to remove these unwarranted measures immediately and unconditionally to allow us to continue with our noble efforts to uplift the lives and livelihoods of our citizens. And in the same spirit, Zimbabwe stands in solidarity with the government and people of Cuba in their struggle against the harsh economic, commercial, and financial blockades. We call for the immediate lifting of this stifling embargo to enable the people of Cuba to pursue their aspirations without hindrance and interference. Mr. President, my country remains committed to supporting the self-determination of both the people of Palestine and Western Sahara. The time for mere rhetoric has long passed. The international community cannot continue to turn a blind eye or be numb to the systematic injustices and suffering of the Palestinian people. We call upon the Security Council to fulfill its mandate by implementing robust measures that ensure the protection of civilians, the upholding of international law, and the facilitation of a just and lasting peace. Most importantly, we need to continue supporting efforts towards a two-state solution which will help resolve the question of Palestine and the resultant peace and security challenges in the Middle East. In the SADC region, we are working tirelessly towards the achievement of peace and security in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, and in the Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique. Excellencies, the international financial architecture as it stands today is an anachronistic construct that no longer meets the needs of the global community, particularly those of developing nations. Our economies, which are the livelihood of the global market, are disproportionately affected by the rigid and often inequitable policies imposed by dominant financial institutions. The current system, steeped in historical power imbalances, has failed to provide the necessary flexibility and support required for sustainable development. It is therefore imperative that we reform these structures to ensure that they are more inclusive, more equitable, and more reflective of the diverse realities that are faced by all member states, particularly in the global south. In our In a world facing all manners of insecurities, the current paralysis of the Security Council on crucial topics is unconscionable, as it negates its very important existence. Reform of the Security Council is not just an aspiration, but a present-day necessity. This reform is not just a matter of fairness. It is essential for ensuring that the Council's decisions are all-inclusive, are credible, and truly reflect the global community's diversity. In this regard, Zimbabwe stands by the African Union's Ezulwini Consensus and the SETI Declaration, which advocates for at least 2 permanent seats with the veto power for African countries on the Security Council. Excellencies, information communication technologies have transformed our lives for the better and can be harnessed for fast-paced development. Yet, the same technology has also been employed to commit crimes and destabilize societies. It is therefore prudent for us to come up with a global digital governance framework in order to guard against the harmful consequences of this otherwise transformative technology. Zimbabwe is fully committed and will contribute positively in all negotiations aimed at global cooperation in both harnessing the good from the digital world and also combating the negative aspects and abuse of the same. Mr. President, as I conclude, I wish to reaffirm Zimbabwe's commitment to the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter. The challenges we face are immense, but not insurmountable. By acting together, we can advance peace, we can promote sustainable development, and uphold human dignity for the present and future generations. Zimbabwe stands ready to collaborate with all member states to ensure that our shared aspirations for a better world are realized. Let us work in unison, guided by the spirit of multilateralism, solidarity, and mutual respect in order to address the pressing issues of our time and to build a more inclusive and just and sustainable future. I thank you for your attention.